I got stationed at my dad's old base and everyone started treating me like a ghost. I'm Private First Class Ryan Foster. When I got my orders for Fort Bragg, I was excited. My dad had been stationed there 20 years ago as a young sergeant. I thought it'd be cool to walk the same paths he did. First day, I'm checking in at the company headquarters. The clerk looks at my ID card and his face goes pale. Foster? Like Sergeant First Class David Foster? Yeah, that was my dad. He served here back in 2004. The specialist just stared at me. Then he stood up and called into the back office. First Sergeant Perry, you need to see this. First Sergeant Perry came out, took one look at my name tape, and went completely silent. He studied my face for a solid minute. You're David's son? Yes, First Sergeant. He shook my hand but didn't say anything else. Just processed my paperwork quietly and sent me to my platoon. At my platoon area, the same thing happened. Staff Sergeant Cole, my squad leader, froze when he heard my name. Foster, your dad was David Foster? Yeah, he passed away 3 years ago. Cole nodded slowly. I know, I was there. That's when things got weird. Nobody would partner with me for anything. During morning PT, guys would leave space around me. At the chow hall, people would stop talking when I sat down. I asked my roommate Austin what was going on. Dude, your dad is a legend here, like an actual legend. What do you mean? He pulled out his phone and showed me a memorial plaque I'd never seen before. It was mounted in the battalion headquarters. Sergeant First Class David Foster. Killed in action, Fallujah, Iraq. Silver Star recipient. My dad never talked about his deployments. Mom said he didn't like discussing it. I knew he died overseas when I was 15, but I never knew the details. Mom kept it vague, said it was too painful. Turns out my dad had saved 12 soldiers during an ambush. He'd exposed himself to enemy fire to pull wounded guys to safety. Made 4 trips before he got hit. They named the company Jim after him. Suddenly, everyone's weird behavior made sense. They weren't treating me like a ghost. They were treating me like I was walking in the shadow of a hero. The worst part was First Sergeant Perry. He'd been one of the soldiers my dad saved. He was a private back then, fresh out of basic training. My dad had dragged him behind a wall while he was bleeding from his leg. Your father told me, "You're gonna make it home, kid. Trust me," Perry said when he finally explained everything. He went back out for more guys and didn't come back himself. I spent 3 weeks feeling like everyone expected me to be like him, to be some kind of hero. The pressure was crushing. Finally, Staff Sergeant Cole pulled me aside during a field exercise. Listen, Foster, your dad was an amazing soldier, but he was also just a regular guy who did something extraordinary when it mattered. Nobody expects you to be him. We just wanted to make sure you knew what he meant to us. He handed me a photo I'd never seen. My dad, younger than I am now, standing with his squad. He looked happy, normal. Your dad used to talk about you all the time, Cole said. Showed us pictures, said his biggest mission was making sure his son had a better life than he did. You being here, serving, that's you completing his mission. The guys in my platoon started treating me normal after that. Found out they'd been nervous around me because they didn't know how to talk about my dad. Didn't want to say the wrong thing. Now when people hear my name, yeah, they still mention my dad, but it's different. They tell me stories about him goofing around in the barracks, about him being terrible at poker, about him burning breakfast so bad they had to evacuate the building. I'm not living in a ghost's shadow anymore. I'm just learning about who my dad really was. One story at a time.